right, everybody. Welcome back to the Review Preview Podcast. This is episode something, but it is episode
70 or 71.
It's up
Someone
there. It's episode 2 of the new year.
Yeah. This is the last one we did until 2 weeks before was in August.
Really?
Yeah, because we were talking about the fair. And I was like, oh, we really should do one. And then one just popped up in my Spotify feed. And I'm like, oh, you did one with Caden.
I think that, yeah.
Before that.
And I think that was an ironic, see, all the levels are weird on here too. Sorry if this is really loud or really soft.
Yeah.
It's a new year.
Yeah. It's been a while. We're rusty.
But the last one is actually, I think that now that you say that, the fair, I think that was kind of like this kind of cryptic title to that podcast, because I think it was called Fare Thee Well.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we didn't do the
gone
podcast for like 5 months.
Yeah.
So people, all of our listeners, were probably like, that was it.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Because
we tricked him.
Because
maybe that was the end of the season.
It was. Yeah.
If we knew how to do seasons.
Right. Some podcasters actually have seasons and have plans.
Yeah.
We, on the other hand, don't. We just hey, let's talk into microphones for a while.
Yeah.
So, and then we forget about it for 5 months.
Yeah.
And then we resurrect it because high school students say, hey, when are you going to do
Why
that
haven't
again?
you done this? Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm kind of worried that all of our listeners / fans have forgotten our names at this point.
I'm Sean.
Yeah, I'm Shane.
Sean and
yeah.
Shane.
Yeah, it should be easy enough to remember.
Yeah.
So,
Last time it was Caden. And he was good.
Yeah, he was natural.
We talked about Snow Blast a little bit, which you were at Snow Blast. Mm-hmm. You did music there, right?
Yeah, I got a lead. There was some really good musicians on there. It was just a good time. Like they were all just playing really well, and I don't know, they're just good at it, and it was fun.
That is fun.
Cool to worship with all the
It's
students.
fun when you can like kind of get into a groove with like good musicians.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Yeah,
I know that.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Yeah. Well, yeah, we're back in the podcasting realm, talking about review preview stuff. Sorry, I keep turning mine down, and I think I'm supposed to be turning yours down.
I don't know. Test. Maybe I need to like be consistent.
No. It's I'm off my game.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
yes,
Shane. I didn't preach this last week. Pastor David Erickson did, and it was kind of like a Gideon Sunday, kind of a standalone Sunday. We brought in new members on Sunday. It was fun. It was good. Yeah. And so let's try. It's hard for me sometimes to remember back. But I asked you, I was like, hey, what did we talk? We don't rehearse these things. We just kind of show up. And I was like, Shane, what did we talk about on Sunday? And you knew right away.
Yeah.
Like you literally, I think you said the title of the sermon. You gave me like the outline of the sermon. Like there's no notes here, people. Like
it's very rare. It's only because Pastor David was preaching. I kept forgetting, and I kept having to go back to his email to be like, okay, what kind of songs am I choosing?
No,
he actually wants me to sing "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." Perfect, let's do it.
That's right. No, wait. Hold on a second. We didn't sing "Hark the Herald Angels Sing" on Sunday.
Oh yeah, it's "Angels We've Heard on High." I messed up that song. Like they're just the same in my head.
That's twice. Yeah. So last week, so this is funny for those of you that don't know. Shane, back at the season of Advent when we weren't doing the podcast, you started the song "Hark the Herald Angels Sings," but we were supposed to sing "Angels We Have Heard on High," and it wasn't until that I got all
the way through the first verse.
You are so talented because this is what I was thinking in my mind because the words were on the screen, and I was like, "How are you playing the chords?" But then I realized, as a musician, I was like, "Well, I know that I think you're playing the key of E, and Hark the Herald Angels Sing is like a really tricky song to play on guitar, and you just play that E chord for a long time."
Yeah, exactly.
Which is the same as "Angels We Have Heard on High." So then I was like, "Oh, that's how you did it." But now it's twice now.
Yeah.
Now you have a mental block in your brain.
Well, and Maggie drew a really good picture commemorating the moment, and it's up in my office, and so lives in infamy. And
which that made me feel good too, because I walked in your office a couple weeks back, and then I saw the little cartoon. Yeah. And I was like that is like one of those moments that is just so classic.
Yeah.
Like not church fail. Like I'm not calling. It's just funny. It was good.
I get it.
You handled it so well.
I get it.
That was so good. Have you seen like those church fail videos, like where It's probably not
The
right
zip
to
line
watch.
breaks as he's like coming down.
or like the drummers like back there, and then like the fake plant falls on him. Have you
Oh
seen
yeah,
that?
yeah.
It's
I've
like-
seen those types of videos, or the stick goes flying or whatever. Yeah, that's fun.
I dropped my drumstick once. The first Sunday I ever played drums at my former church, and it wasn't like a student section, but we had like our whole youth ministry would sit in the front few rows. And that's exactly where the drums were, and I dropped my stick, and I was like, "Oh, that's
embarrassing."
It's embarrassing because then all the kids were like, not kids, students, were looking at me. So anyway, So we talked about, we did, So we did actually highlight kind of like a Christmas element to this service on Sunday, because Pastor David preached on the prophecy of the gospel being to come into fruition in the person of Jesus Christ in the incarnation, and so we started back in Genesis and went to Isaiah, and we kind of went through the story of Luke chapter 2, I believe it was.
I think his tagline through it was ancient story, never old, often becomes the ancient story never told.
Yes,
that's his catchphrase.
That's a
catchphrase.
Good, you just add that T, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I should probably share the gospel.
Yeah.
Right, because these initial shepherds seem to be pretty excited about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, apparently
they went running to tell everybody. So it's just a good reminder, for us to be people who share. And actually, it was pretty cool too because the 2 Sundays ago I wasn't here. I was in Arizona suffering in the 70s.
Yeah,
while you guys were having some sort of crazy snowstorm. But Pastor Danny kind of put out a call for people to invite, right? And I know that a number of our people took him up on that, not quote unquote challenge, but, and so there was like new people, in our service on Sundays. That was good. So they got to hear the story too, hear the gospel, which is,
we don't ever want to take it for granted.
No. So
just the excitement we should still have. And even the excitement, like he started at Genesis 3:15, the promise of the one who would be the seed of the woman who would crush the head of the serpent. And, you can imagine the excitement of like the angels and the hosts in heaven when 4,000 years later, finally, like God himself comes to earth to like fulfill that promise.
Yeah.
There was probably some rejoicing.
There's
there.
a fun verse like in 1 Peter, I think it is, where it says like the angels longed to look into these things.
Yeah.
Like trying to figure out like when was this child going to come about, and we actually know it in full. We live in hindsight of it. So, but anyway. That's good. It's good Sunday. Brought in new members. Half of them were sick.
Yeah, I know.
So we're gonna have to showcase you guys.
We have like a special time in the service, and they don't show up over just some like small little illness. Like,
right? How committed? Are you?
Yeah.
Right. No. So we'll get the Coys up on stage, and then the second half of the Douglas family at some point.
Yeah.
And just to kind of showcase them. Transitioning into this next week, we have we're back in the Gospel of Mark, kind of a continuation of a message that started 3 weeks ago. Actually,
I know you stopped right in the middle of a paragraph.
I did.
So we finally have to finish it.
I know. So we've been slow going through Mark, but it's been intentional. We're actually going to pick it up the next couple of weeks to go a little bit faster. But for this week, we're going to finish the story of the calling of Levi, tax collector guy.
Yeah.
And it's just a phenomenal story. We applied it in a personal way last time, because here's this social outcast of society sitting in the middle of a work shift, who Jesus goes out to evangelize. Right? We talked about he goes out again, and he passes by Levi, and he calls Levi to follow him. Levi leaves. And it says he rises up, he follows, and then eventually he reclines with Jesus and shares a meal with him at a house. And so the personal application on that Sunday was like, what do you need to respond to Jesus with? Some of you need to respond for the first time, some of you need to respond for the 1,000th time. Doesn't matter. The call is urgent, and it's now, and now is the time to respond. And it was cool because there was a lot of people that did respond. I mean, it wasn't like an altar call. We don't have an altar.
Yeah.
Jesus has already been sacrificed, but we do have front steps. And we invited people to come up and like kind of make commitments or reaffirmations, those types of things. And so that was the personal application. But now we're going to preach the passage and finish the passage. and talk about how do we apply this on a corporate level, because this is the second why question we get in the Gospel of Mark. And it's coming from the lips of the Pharisees, and they say, why does he eat with tax collectors and sinners?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to try to answer that question and then apply it corporately.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I think because we all have to learn how to care for each other inside the church and be open to people coming into the church who maybe haven't grown up in the church their entire lives.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, because what happened, the punchline of it is this, is that Jesus gives a cultural proverb. He says it's not the quote unquote healthy who need doctors, it's the sick, right? Mm-hmm. And the punchline is like, look, we're all sick, but the Pharisees didn't know it. They thought they were okay. And so as a church, we want to try to apply that here. And you can't, it's really hard to admit that you're sick. Mm-hmm. It's hard to let the facade of who you're pretending to be down and then let it circle the drain, and just watch it go away.
Yeah.
Because then you're just like, here I am.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah.
And will I be accepted? Will I be allowed to remain? And, one of the values that we want to prize here at FCC is that we want to engage in authentic relationships with people, because we're a grace-based organization, a grace-based fellowship. So allowing ourselves to be real and transparent and vulnerable, that's the culture that we want to try to cultivate here.
Yeah.
Because that's it. It's so cool. I love it. It says it's not just Levi. It says many tax collectors and sinners were with him. Many. Like, not just Levi was the one outcast in the group of guys that had it all together. It's like many of them. Mm-hmm. And I think it really, all of us are the outcast. All of us need Jesus, unless you think you don't. And then if you don't think you need him, then you're not going to come recline with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
well, I think all of us, I think it's easier for us to admit things that we've struggled with in the past and say, that's who I used to be, but now. Whoa. But to actually be willing to say, no, like, I'm still, like, I'm battling with this right now, and I need help with this.
And you know what's cool about that? This is so good, because we believe, I know that you love theology. So when we think about, like, the atoning sacrifice of Jesus, that pays for all of our sins, past, present, and future. Mm-hmm. But like you said, we get comfortable talking about our past sins, but we get really nervous about talking our present sins or our future sins. But those are already paid for too.
Yeah.
So don't let the devil lie to you. Don't let him abuse you and thinking like, I can't really open up about my real-time struggle or what I might struggle with in the future. I'll just talk about my past because it's safe, because that we know that's forgiven. All of it's forgiven. Yeah. So just be real, be authentic, and walk in the light and make progress. Yeah. Come here as you are, but don't remain where you're at. Yeah. So.
Well, and even with those tax collectors coming together, like, I'm sure that many of them had a story similar to Matthew. Yeah. And so to be able to come together in community and, like, help each other and support each other and understand each other's situation is exactly what we want to do as a church. Like, it's like, I think we're all, when we come into the church, we're all admitting, like, hey, I have a problem. Like, I need Christ to save me. Yeah. Like, I guess that shouldn't be such a big deal to admit, but it is really difficult.
Yeah. So, that's the type of church that I desperately want to be a part of, because I need it. I need it. I'm not on some pedestal. I need to be real and authentic and engage in those relationships too. So it'll be kind of fun. Toward the end of the message, I'm going to kind of poke fun at ourselves a little bit. So I'm going to show a picture on Sunday that's just comical. It's just a funny picture of something to do with our church. So there's a teaser. So stay awake.
I'm ready to be angry.
Stay awake. Angry?
Not angry.
You won't be angry.
Outraged.
You won't be outraged.
Okay, good.
When you see this, you will laugh.
Okay.
If you have a different encounter or experience, then you're taking yourself way too seriously.
That's fair.
So so we should have a good time on Sunday. So stay awake throughout the duration of the message. Yeah. And have a good chuckle at ourselves at the end. All right? That's my admonition. Elder Garrett Camp is going to continue on in the Sermon on the Mount series at Equipping Hour, so make sure you come out for that at 9
Yeah,
a.m.
seriously, it's been
really
so good so far.
It's way better than anything I would ever do.
Yeah.
Like, I've told myself, I should never teach Equipping Hour again. I should not do it.
Yeah.
After we have so many other great, competent teachers. So anyway, so come out for 9 a.m. for that. You'll be encouraged.
Or catch the videos on YouTube if you need to catch up. So.
Which I wanted to go back and review something, so thank you for doing that, because I went back and I printed out the class notes again today. From that. So all those resources are available via our website.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well,
Kevin Spolstra confirmed to play drums for Easter choir. So
whoa,
that's good.
Nice. Good job, Kevin. Rock it, baby. All right, we'll see you guys on Sunday at 9 a.m.
That's it.
See ya.